Have you ever found yourself scrolling through social media, staring at someone from your past, living the dream, luxurious vacations, expensive restaurants, and experiences that seem far beyond reach while you're celebrating the moment your checking account finally hits 4 digits? Or perhaps you've overheard someone throw around terms like top 1% and wondered, could I even make it into the top 90%? The truth is, the picture of wealth you're seeing isn't the full story. When most people think about being rich, they picture private jets, sprawling mansions, and enough money to buy whatever they want. But here's the catch: being in the top 10% of Americans by net worth doesn't require as much money as most people think. In fact, you might already be closer to that level of wealth than you realize. Or you might learn that what you once thought was the definition of wealth is actually just the beginning of a much bigger journey. It's not about the flashy cars or expensive clothes. The world of wealth goes deeper. The reality is that most wealthy individuals aren't living in mansions or wearing designer labels. Instead, they've built a financial system that works for them. They're not just spending, they're accumulating, investing, and growing their money over time. What's more, those people you see flaunting wealth with the newest sports car and a fancy watch might not be as financially secure as they seem. Many of them are living paycheck to paycheck, weighed down by debt. If you truly want to understand wealth, it's time to change the way you think about money. Let's break down the real numbers and see how close you really are to achieving lasting financial freedom. Wealth is often seen through the lens of what can be flaunted: the flashy cars, luxurious vacations, and extravagant homes. It's a captivating image, one that entices us to chase after material possessions and external validation. But this image of wealth, however alluring, is one of the biggest misconceptions in modern society. We often assume that if someone has the lifestyle we see on Instagram or in the movies, they must be truly wealthy. In reality, this assumption is far from the truth. In truth, the truly wealthy don't flaunt their wealth the way people often expect. They're not driving the latest sports car or living in a mansion. Instead, they're the ones in modest homes, perhaps driving a car that's 10 years old. They've mastered the art of investing, saving, and living below their means. The key difference? Their money works for them, rather than them working for their money. They focus on accumulating assets that appreciate over time, not liabilities that deplete their resources. This is a fundamental shift in how we perceive wealth. Those with true financial freedom don't spend money to show off, they accumulate assets that build their wealth over time. Wealth isn't about being seen, it's about having the freedom to never worry about money again. The fact is, many of those who appear to be wealthy are actually living paycheck to paycheck, struggling with debt. Their expensive toys and flashy lifestyle mask the reality they might be more financially vulnerable than you realize. It's easy to get caught up in the illusion of wealth, where the focus is on spending rather than growing wealth. But understanding what real wealth looks like and how it is built is the key to unlocking financial independence. It's not about showing the world how much you have. It's about quietly building something that lasts, without the need for constant validation from others. When people talk about being rich, they often focus on income, how much money someone makes annually. The assumption is simple: the more you earn, the wealthier you are. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Income and wealth are two entirely different concepts, and understanding this distinction is essential to building long-term financial security. Income is just what you bring in: your salary, your earnings, your business profits. It's the amount of money that flows into your hands over a given period, while income is necessary for covering expenses and sustaining your lifestyle. It does not directly equate to wealth. In fact, many people who earn substantial incomes are, in reality, living paycheck to paycheck, relying on every dollar to fund their lifestyle. Wealth, on the other hand, is what you accumulate over time. It's the assets you own, the investments you've made, the properties you've acquired, and the financial systems you've built. Wealth isn't about the money you earn today. It's about the value you've accumulated and how it works for you. True wealth comes from the ability to generate income without needing to trade your time for money. It's about creating a portfolio of assets that grow and appreciate over time, generating passive income streams that allow you to live comfortably without constantly working. Those who understand this shift are the ones who build real wealth. Income might get you into the top 10%, but wealth, real, lasting wealth, pushes you into a completely different league. And to build wealth, you need to start focusing on accumulating assets, not just earning money. By investing wisely and making smart financial decisions, you can ensure that your wealth continues to grow, even when you're not working. The top 10% of income earners, they earn at least $251,000 annually. With that kind of income, you can afford nice homes, decent vacations, and contribute meaningfully to retirement savings. But here's the catch. Income alone doesn't guarantee wealth. If you're spending everything you make, even a six-figure income won't lead to lasting financial freedom. The numbers jump dramatically as you climb the ladder. To enter the top 5%, you need $335,575 per year. The top 1% starts at $659,060 annually. But even with that kind of income, the path to true wealth is far from guaranteed unless you understand the difference between income and net worth. Understanding where you stand in America's wealth hierarchy requires more than just knowing your income. You need to understand the broader landscape, how much people in different income brackets actually earn, and how that compares to your situation. The numbers behind wealth distribution tell a fascinating, often surprising story. For starters, let's talk about the median household income. The typical American household today earns approximately $83,730 annually. That means half of all households make more and half make less. But don't let that number fool you. Living on that income in most major cities is challenging. Between rent, groceries, and rising healthcare costs, many households barely make it through the month. So, while $83,000 puts you in the middle, it's not a comfortable cushion in most places. To crack the top 25% of earners, you need a household income of around $150,000. This is where things start to shift. Families at this level can save, invest, and have a bit more breathing room. They are starting to build financial security rather than just surviving from paycheck to paycheck. But this still isn't the wealthy level most imagine. Income is often the starting point in discussions about wealth, but the real measure of financial success is net worth. Net worth is a far more accurate reflection of your financial health. It's the total value of what you own, minus what you owe essentially, your assets minus your liabilities. To put it simply, your net worth is your true financial position. The average American household has a median net worth of around $193,000. While this figure has been increasing over the years, it still leaves much to be desired. For young adults under the age of 35, the situation is even more telling. Half of this demographic has a net worth of less than $39,000. In many cases, that's not even enough for a down payment on a home in most major cities. It's a stark reminder of the financial challenges many face when starting their journey. But here's the key. Net worth doesn't just increase by earning more. It grows by accumulating assets and reducing liabilities over time. That means building investments, buying real estate, and continuously working to reduce debts. The more you invest in appreciating assets, the more your wealth compounds, which leads to long-term financial freedom. To be in the top 25% by net worth, you need to have about $659,000 in assets. This is where financial security starts to solidify. Families in this bracket are comfortable, often mortgage-free, with growing retirement savings and the ability to weather financial storms without being wiped out. To join the top 10%, you need a net worth of $1.9 million. This is where you start seeing true wealth households with significant investments, multiple income streams, and assets that are working to build even more wealth. Entering the top 1% of wealth in America isn't something that happens by accident. The threshold to this exclusive club is high, with net worth levels starting at around $11.6 million and some estimates putting it closer to $13.6 million. While these numbers sound astronomical, the journey to the top 1% is less about luck and more about smart financial decisions, strategic investments, and long-term wealth building. The top 1% of wealth isn't just about having an impressive paycheck. It's about building wealth that can sustain itself without constant effort. Most of the wealth in the top 1% comes from assets that appreciate over time, real estate, businesses, investments, and intellectual property. These individuals and families have built their financial systems so that their money works for them, generating income even when they're not actively working for it. At this level, money isn't just about buying a better house or a faster car. It becomes a tool for wealth preservation, growth, and legacy building. The ultra-wealthy focus on optimizing their financial structures, minimizing tax burdens through legal strategies, and diversifying their portfolios. They're playing a completely different game from the average person. They're not just accumulating wealth, they're ensuring that wealth continues to grow even after they're gone. But even within the top 1%, there's a significant difference in wealth. The wealth gap between the top 10% and the top 1% is massive. To enter the 1%, you need far more than an impressive salary. You need to build assets that continue to appreciate. The difference between someone with $2 million and someone with $20 million isn't necessarily in their lifestyle choices. It's in the way they think about wealth. The wealthy see money as a tool to create more wealth, while others might see it as something to spend. Building significant wealth isn't just about the numbers or the strategies, it's also about the mindset you adopt along the way. There's a fundamental shift in how the wealthy think about money compared to those who struggle to build wealth. The rich view money as a tool to create more wealth, while others often see it simply as something to spend. This shift in perspective is essential for anyone looking to build lasting financial success. When you're just starting out, you might think of money as a means to meet your immediate needs, paying rent, buying groceries, or covering bills. But as you start to grow financially, you must begin thinking about money in a different way. The wealthy think long-term. They're less focused on the immediate and more focused on what they can build over time. They understand the power of compound growth, how small, consistent investments can grow exponentially over the years. This mindset isn't just about frugality. It's about being strategic with how you use your resources. Instead of spending every dollar that comes in, the wealthy save and invest, always thinking about how their money can work for them. Whether it's buying rental properties, investing in stocks, or starting a business, they look for opportunities that will create income streams for the future. The wealthy also take a calculated approach to debt. They understand the difference between good debt used to acquire appreciating assets like a mortgage on a rental property and bad debt, like credit card balances that drain your resources. This mindset shift from spending to investing, from working for money to having money work for you, is what truly separates the wealthy from the rest. As your income increases, it's easy to fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation. This happens when you start earning more money, but instead of saving or investing the difference, your lifestyle adjusts to reflect your higher earnings. A bigger house, a nicer car, more expensive vacations, it all seems natural. But here's the catch. Lifestyle inflation is one of the quickest ways to derail your journey toward wealth. When you earn more money, it's tempting to upgrade your life in every way. You might think that earning $100,000 a year means you deserve a luxury car or an extravagant vacation. But what many people fail to realize is that as your spending rises, so does the pressure to keep earning more to maintain that lifestyle. And that's where the trap lies. The key to building lasting wealth is not letting your expenses rise with your income. The wealthy understand this principle well. While they may have the means to live lavishly, many of them choose not to. Instead, they maintain a modest lifestyle, even as their wealth grows. They invest the difference. This doesn't mean you should never enjoy your money. It's about finding balance, living comfortably, but with a focus on your long-term financial security. If you allow your expenses to inflate every time your income rises, you'll be stuck in a cycle of chasing bigger paychecks without ever building real wealth. By keeping your lifestyle modest and investing the extra income, you can begin to build the foundation for long-term wealth. The more you invest, the more your wealth grows, compounding over time. This is the true path to financial freedom. Instead of using money to increase your consumption, use it to increase your assets. True wealth is not just about what you can buy today, it's about what you can pass on tomorrow. Building generational wealth is the ultimate goal for many of the world's wealthiest families. The idea is simple. You want your wealth to outlast you, benefiting your children, grandchildren, and beyond. The strategies to build such wealth, however, are complex and long-term, requiring foresight, careful planning, and, most importantly, patience. The first step to building generational wealth is understanding that it's not about living lavishly in the present, it's about accumulating assets that will continue to grow and generate wealth for future generations. Whether it's through investments in real estate, stocks, businesses, or other appreciating assets, the goal is to ensure that the wealth doesn't just survive, but thrives as it's passed down. Families who successfully build generational wealth focus on creating systems and structures that grow wealth over time. They understand that it's not just about the money itself, but how it's managed. This means establishing strong financial practices, educating future generations on money management, and ensuring that the assets remain productive. The wealthy also take advantage of wealth preservation strategies. Things like tax optimization, strategic gifting, and charitable contributions that not only help grow their wealth, but also minimize the loss of wealth through taxes and inflation. These strategies ensure that their wealth is protected and that it continues to grow for the benefit of future generations. By focusing on creating a legacy of wealth, rather than simply spending money in the present, you can begin to build something truly lasting. Generational wealth isn't built overnight. It's the result of decisions made today that will benefit tomorrow's generations. Building lasting wealth requires more than just technical knowledge or a strategic financial plan. It requires a fundamental shift in mindset, one that turns the focus from immediate gratification to long-term gains. This shift is often the difference between those who create lasting wealth and those who remain stuck, despite earning high incomes. The mindset shift begins with understanding that wealth building is not a sprint, but a marathon. Many people fall into the trap of seeking quick wins, whether that's chasing the next big investment opportunity or splurging on luxuries when they get a raise. But true wealth building is about consistency, discipline, and making decisions today that will pay off years from now. The wealthy understand the power of patience and compounding. They don't need instant results because they know that wealth grows over time through smart investments and savings. Every dollar they save today becomes multiple dollars tomorrow, and they prioritize making their money work for them. Another key element of this mindset shift is the ability to separate needs from wants. The wealthy are skilled at distinguishing between what they truly need and what society tells them they should have. They resist the temptation of lifestyle inflation and focus on building assets, not consuming. They understand that wealth isn't about acquiring things, it's about acquiring the right things. Assets that appreciate and income streams that continue to grow. Ultimately, building wealth requires a long-term, patient approach. You must be willing to delay gratification, make sacrifices in the short term, and focus on accumulating and investing wisely. This mindset shift isn't easy, but it's essential for anyone looking to break free from the cycle of paycheck to paycheck living and move toward true financial independence. The path to financial independence and true wealth starts with taking full responsibility for your financial future. It's easy to let life's distractions and external pressures control your financial decisions. But the moment you take ownership of your financial destiny is the moment everything begins to change. First and foremost, you need to get serious about your financial education. Wealthy individuals don't wait for someone else to teach them how to build wealth. They take the initiative to learn. This means diving into topics like investing, taxes, real estate, and personal finance. The more you know, the better equipped you are to make informed decisions that will benefit your financial future. Next, it's important to take a close look at your spending habits. Are you living within your means? Or are you constantly upgrading your lifestyle to match your income? The key to financial freedom lies in controlling your expenses, not just increasing your income. It's not about how much you make, but how much you keep and invest. If you can learn to live below your means, no matter how much you earn, you'll be well on your way to financial independence. Taking control of your financial future also means being proactive about saving and investing. The earlier you start, the more you benefit from compound growth. Even small, consistent contributions to retirement accounts or other investment vehicles can add up over time, creating a solid foundation of wealth that continues to grow long after you stop working. Finally, remember that wealth building is a long-term commitment. It's about making smart, disciplined choices every single day. But once you start, the path becomes clearer, and before you know it, you'll have built the kind of wealth that not only benefits you, but secures your financial future for generations to come. Now that you've uncovered the true path to wealth, it's time to decide. Will you keep chasing fleeting displays of wealth, like flashy cars and material goods, or will you take control of your financial destiny and begin the journey toward real independence? Building lasting wealth is more than just earning a high income. It's about growing your assets, investing wisely, and making conscious choices today that set you up for a secure future. It requires shifting your mindset from instant gratification to long-term stability. Take action now. Educate yourself on investing, managing debt, and building wealth. Focus on acquiring assets that grow over time, while resisting the temptation to inflate your lifestyle. Every choice you make today directly impacts your financial future. Building wealth is a journey, not a race. It's about consistent effort, disciplined saving, and planning for tomorrow. The path to financial freedom is in your hands. Start now and commit to a legacy of true wealth.